Hello everyone, like every Wednesday, I invite you to a cryptocurrency review. Let's start by checking the current situation on the BTC pair to USDT, taking into account the 4-hour interval. First, we will use the yellow lines to mark the local triangle in which the price is currently moving. Now we can move on to marking the places of support in the event of a correction. And here, in the first place, it is worth marking a very strong support zone from $28,038 to $27,560 in which the price is currently located. But when we fall below this zone, we can see a drop around $26,882 and even $26,022. Looking the other way, in a similar way, using the trend-based fib extension tool, we can determine the places of resistance. First, we will mark the resistance zone from $28,659 to $29,195. When it manages to break it, the price will have to break through the resistance at $29,711. And then the third resistance at $30,466. Only when it breaks out above and then positively tests it, we will be able to see further increases. It is worth paying attention to the EMA cross 10 and 30, where we see confirmation of the transition to a downtrend. You should watch the red line when it starts to curve upwards, which can give a trend reversal. Please pay attention to the CHOP index, which on the 4-hour interval indicates that the energy has been used and begins to rebound. The MACD indicator indicates the maintenance of the local downtrend. While the RSI has touched the lower limit of the range, which may give a break in the correction. At this point, it is worth looking at the indicators on the 1-day interval. And here CHOP indicates that we have a lot of energy gathered. MACD entered a downtrend, while RSI went to the lower part of the range, but there is still room for a correction to pull the BTC price down. As the second chart in today's review, we'll check ETH against USDT, also on a 4-hour timeframe. First of all, we can use the blue lines to mark the uptrend channel from which the price went down, but locally we can see that we managed to break out of the downtrend line. Now let's move on to marking the places of support. We will use the trend-based fib extension tool to mark the supports, and as you can see, the first strong support that holds the price so far is at $1,838, the second support at $1,808, the third at $1,783, and then we have the fourth support at $1,759. Looking the other way, we can also mark the places where the price should encounter resistance on the way to increases. And here we first have a resistance zone from $1,893 to $1,918. When we manage to break it, the next resistance is at $1,944, then the third resistance at $1,980, and the fourth resistance at $2,027. The CHOP index indicates that the collected energy is used for an upward move and there is still a lot of energy. The MACD indicator confirms the uptrend. On the other hand, on the RSI, we can see an increase to the upper part of the range, but there is still room for the price to go higher. As the third, we will check the BNB chart on a 4-hour interval. We will start by marking with blue lines the local downtrend channel in which the price is at the lower limit. It is worth marking the local downtrend line that we are approaching on the chart. Let's start by marking the support spots for the price, and we see that we first have support at $310, which has held the price so far. But if the price goes lower, then we have another support at $305.70, then at $301.90, and another support at $298.40. Looking the other way, we can similarly determine the places of resistance that the price has to face. However, here first we have a resistance zone from $315 to $318, then we have a strong resistance zone from $321 to $327. When the price breaks out of it upwards, it must overcome the resistance at $331.40 to exit the downtrend channel upwards. The CHOP index indicates that there is a lot of energy for the next move. The MACD indicates a transition to a local uptrend, while the RSI bounced around the middle of the range, which indicates that there is room for the price to go up a bit more. The last one in today's chart is the LTC chart in pair to USDT. Just like the predecessors on the 4-hour interval, we will use the blue lines to mark the downtrend channel in which the price is moving. But here we can observe that during today's review we are witnessing a strong market rebound. Moving on, we can move on to marking the support areas when the initiated correction begins to deepen. And here, the first support that is currently holding the price is at $77.61. The second support is at $74.90. The third support is at $72.71. And we still have support at $70.46. Looking the other way, we see that we need to go through a big strong resistance zone from $79 to $83 first. Then we have resistance at $85.17 and then move towards $91.41. Please look at the CHOP index, which indicates that a lot of energy has been collected. MACD indicates that despite the correction, we maintain a local uptrend, while the RSI after today's increase is a strong rebound. Technical analysis is provided by a third party and for informational purposes only. It does not reflect the views of CryptoDaily, nor is it intended to be used as legal, tax, investment, or financial advice.